I love to fly up in the sky. Through the clouds I reach so high, climbing up to touch the light. Adventure calls me day and night. The wind, it sings a melody, guiding where I long to be. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the dream's begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the light. The stars above begin to shine, painting trails so bright and fine. Every turn brings something new, endless skies in brilliant blue. The wind, it sings a melody, guiding where I long to be. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the dream's begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the light. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the drum's begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soared into the light.
Beyond ATC connected.
Connected indeed. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to yet another live stream. Today is a somehow special live stream because I really like this airplane I'm flying today, delivery. I mean, I also like the aesthetics of this livery. It's old school, retro British Airways, perhaps one of the most beautiful, if not the most beautiful speedbird out there. It has that old-fashioned lines, and I really like it. I really like it a lot. It's not exactly a common livery, but a lot of airlines do make old school retro liveries, just like TAP Portugal. They also did it. It's also one of my favorite liveries, Lufthansa, SAS. I got them all, but I just don't have the chance to actually fly these retros that often. So it's always a good chance when I actually do. So let's prep the flight. Let's take a look at our static ports. Also our pitot tubes and sensors, making sure nothing looks obstructed, rusty, leaking. Also taking a good look at our wheels here. They look good. You'll notice that some of the airlines have these halogen light bulbs, but more modern airplanes have LEDs. And so yeah, modern times, and they look very different. Again, static port. Let's take a look at the other side as well. Looks good, looks clean. That's what we want. Let's take a look here at our wheels. Our left main landing gear looks good. Nothing to it. The pins look fine for the brakes. Let's take a good look at our engine. These are IAE engines, not CFMs, so they have a bit more humph more power, but they are a little more sluggish to reach the same performance. So they take a little more time to start up as well. Let's take a look at our tank overpressure indicator. It looks black. I've never seen this correctly modeled on the Fenix birds, but still look at them. There's some streaks here, but they're not leaks. They're just dirt being streaked out of the fuselage. Before we go to the right landing gear, let's take a look here at the rear. Look at our APU as well as APU exhaust. See if there's any leaks going. Doesn't appear to be. As you can see, all these little balls here, these are circles. These are interactive panels, so some of these panels will open if we so choose, so we can operate this door, as you can see, and pull the, well, we're not going to do that now. It's just fun to see it working. Same with the fuel cargo door. So we unlock it here and then operate the motor to open it. What we do, look into the wheel conditions. These have brake fans. The right engine looks fine. There are a lot more than just looking into it, of course, but we're making this short and to the point. And hello, Andrew, and who's there? Andrew, Jose, and nice to see you both, guys. Thank you so much for coming. I've not been very regular lately, but life, you know. But yeah, here I am. See, the power cords from the gate are disconnected, and I prefer to connect our trusted GPU. But this gate does have power cords to connect, so there was no need for the GPU. But you know, sometimes the scenery developers do this. They develop these like the air conditioning ducts as well, coming out of most of the times coming out of the jetway. But then there's no possible interaction from these cables to the plane. It's just eye candy. I get it. It looks cool, but no point, actually. So anyway, both wheels and the front landing gear are choked. So plane's steady. Everything looks fine and dandy from the outside. Unfortunately, there's no stairs to go in, so we have to make a David Copperfield here. 3, 2, 1. And we're inside. And look who's here. Yeah, she's back. Hello, Betty. Oh, still not talking to me. I kind of got used to it. So let's pick up our checklists here. Today's flight will be from Helsinki Vantaa Airport to Manchester in the United Kingdom, or England if you prefer. We're going to take our pretty cool Airbus A319 from Fenix Simulations, and the plane looks ready to go. So let's start it up. Let's bring power to it. First the batteries. I always keep quiet in this moment because it's pretty cool to hear the everything coming to life, especially when the aircraft has an old school gyro. It tends to be noisy. Still a bit dark. Just waited for it to cool up. We can already connect the external power. And now everything really will come back to life. Conducting self-tests as expected. Oh, well, track IR looks strange. Stand by. What's going on? Alright, much better. Here we go. Alright, so let's turn on our ADIRs. 1, 2, and 3. The other day someone told me, hey, you're doing it in the wrong order. I'm not. IRS-1, IR-1, IR-2, and IR-3 in the middle. It really is how the airplane is. You don't go 1, 3, 2, you go 1, 2, and 3. And that's the correct order to turn it on. So yeah, well, look at that, follow me. So this is Manchester. It's not an airport I'm familiar with. I've not been here for too many times. A couple of times before, and it was way back. So hopefully things will go fine. I'm not really familiar with the layout, but we'll get there. So let's prep our cockpit. So parking brakes are set, flaps are up, spoilers are retracted, weather radar is off, as well as predictive wind shear. Engines masters 1 and 2 are off, engine mode selector to norm, thrust levers set on idle, gear is down, at least the lever is, and the wipers are both off. Cockpit pre-flight checklist complete. Betsy's behaving. She's just not communicating. So, but yeah, talking about you. So, yeah, how about it? Nah, not today. All right, let's load the flight. Here we go, from Helsinki to Manchester. So we got a standard departure time at 16:40, so 5 minutes from now. Not gonna happen. Let's carry on with the loading of the aircraft. So load aircraft. Hopefully we are going to board only and load fuel instantly. There it is. So we already have the FOB 8,740. So let's confirm all this through our briefing. So we got a cost index of 5, and it's going to be important for the fuel calculations, and the block fuel will be 87.47. So we are missing 7 grams of fuel. It's nothing. All right, so flight plan, nothing in it, so let's go in it. First of all, let's go to ATC requests. No, that's the weather. This is always a problem when you switch aircraft, because things are a little different. A2, AOC, flight init, there it is. So flight number, it's going to be, this one doesn't fill for you. So BAW 213. So BA, it's a little dark, isn't it? That's much better. BAW 213. Bam. Passenger boarding started. Copy. EFHK to E. Sorry, it's the wrong menu option. To EGCC. So expected alternate will be, what's the alternate here? Where's the alternate? I need to pay attention to the alternate, don't I? Very rarely do I do that. It's probably Heathrow. So where's the alternate? Flight log. There it is. Oh, where's the alternate? Yeah, it's Heathrow. So EGLL. EGLL. That one I know quite well. Flew that way too many times. So let's set it for 1650. I'm not going to be able to take off at 1640 as expected. So initialize. So we're calling the ATC, telling them that we want to initialize the aircraft. So request has been sent. And what do we got? We got an ECAM warning with that faded away. Alright, looks like we got initiation requested. There it is, load sheet is incoming. So we are expecting takeoff fuel 8547. So we're gonna spend 200 pounds, 200 kilograms on the taxi. Yeah, so we are expecting, what's the passenger count? 104 passengers, all right. So let's accept that for now. Let's go into our AOC menu again, and now let's request from ADC a pre-departure clearance, which should work. We are at gate number 30, and let's listen to ATIS to get our boarding completed already. Nice. Beyond ATC, let's listen to our ATIS.
Initial contact, you have information, Oscar.
Oscar, nice.
Banter Airport, information, Oscar. 1626 Zulu, wind 165 at 10. Visibility 10 miles or more. Ceiling 700 broken, temperature 06, dew point 05, QNH 1014. Landing
1014.
runways 15, 22 left, departing runways 15, 22 right, transition level 050.
It's not
Advise on initial
ETCC, we
contact,
want
you have information, Oscar.
EFHK.
Banter Airport, information, Oscar. 1626
Send.
Zulu, wind 165 at 10. Visibility 10 miles or more. Ceiling 700 broken, temperature 06, dew point 05, QNH 1014. Landing runways 15, 22 left, departing runways 15, 22 right, transition level 050. Advise on initial contact, you have information, Oscar. Banter Airport, information, Oscar. 1626 Zulu, wind 165 at 10. Visibility 10 miles or more. Ceiling 700 broken, temperature 06, dew point 05, QNH 1014. Landing runways 15, 22 left, departing runways 15, 22 right, transition level 050. Advise on initial contact, you have information, Oscar. Banter Airport, information, Oscar. 1626 Zulu, wind 165 at 10. Visibility 10 miles or more. Ceiling 700 broken, temperature 06, dew point 05.
I don't think clearance is working. Yeah, it's not receiving. Don't know why. Brightness is up. I did get an ATC clearance, so cleared for EGCC, runway 22 right, departure ADIV4N. So not entirely sure why it's not displaying on the DCDU. Alright, we got flight number BAW213. Everything's waiting on me now because the plane's been loaded. 213. Where we're going for cost index 5 as briefed. Oh, there it is. Now it's got it. Okay, let's will comply. Send. Got it. Cruise level should be flight level 380. Kind of late, buddy, but okay. 380. And now we need our performances. So another message. Close. Give me the other one. No more messages. Page down. No. So we got squawk 4763. So 476. Well, what happened there? 4763. Oh, I'm missing a digit. 47. Whoops. 4763. Now it's got it. So let's go for our flight plan. EFHK departure. It's going to be runway 22 right. Bingo. And our SID will be... We got a new message. Stand by. Clearance confirmed. Thank you. We're gonna be ADIV for November. Very first one. Temporary insert. Nav accuracy upgrades, so we got our INSs connected. Alright, so we are going for our charts. We got our start. There it is. This is our departure. ADV for November. We're going for the 283 turn out of runway, then going through HK 461, then maximum airspeed 250 knots until we reach ADVO, and then unrestricted. Copy that. Let's go for our performance. So we're going to go for departure performance, sync load sheet, sync live weather. 6 degrees outside, pretty nice. Calculate. 140 V1, 140 VR, 144 for V2. We got flaps 1 up 1.4 and flex to temperature 80 degrees. So this is quite a high. We're going to have quite a delay to take off. Let's send this to the MCDU. And there it is. Now let's go for our mass and balance. We go back here. We got everything loaded in, so we can confirm our number of passengers and all that, and send to MCDU. And we go to initiation, second page, and confirm it's 51.79, so 51.8, and zero fuel CG should be 27.2, and our block fuel 8.7. And 8.7. Everything's confirmed, everything's fully ready. Let's go through our checklists for now. So battery 1 and 2 is on, external power is on, accumulating brakes pressure, it's right there. Let's unlock our parking brakes. Unlocked, parking brakes set, and they are operational. Cockpit lights as required, instrument display brightness as required, APU fire test. So our APU is currently off. Let's perform the test. So squib discharge, fire, light lit up, ECAM status warning, both master warnings flashing. Tested cruise supply set to on, it's already on. CVR test, I gotta get this out of here because there's no point in doing this test specifically, but I never find it. It's different. There it is, CVR test. Alright, we got tone. ADIRs 1, 2, and 3 are set to nav. External lights wing on. Nav and logo set to 1. Done. No smoking, portable devices. There we go. And switch to emergency light, switch to on. Enunciator lights, let's test these. All lights light up on the upper head panel. Glare shield, alternate, and pedestal. All lights seem fine and dandy. And probe window heat set to auto. They are set to auto. APU available. Let's set APU master on. APU start. AC temperatures as required. ECAM page set to electrical. And now let's test the batteries. Battery 1 to off. Battery 1 off. Battery 1 back to on. Whoops. Battery 1. APU auto shutdown. What? Oh, because of the battery test. Alright. And battery 2 off. Sorry. Battery 2 off and back on. Done. Now APU master switch and APU start should go fine. Fuel pumps set off, and let's perform engine fire tests. So we're going to test engine number 1. Both squibs, both engines lit up. Master warning light, flashing, ECAM status, and of course fire warning on engine 1. Test number 2. Same squibs, discharge on both, fire lit up, master fire switch on the switch, and as well as glare shield, master warning, flashing, ECAM status tested. Flight directors both set to on, battle reference 1014 and cross-checked. EFIS set to constraint in 10. Just switch these on, constraint 10, constraint 10, and switch is set to VOR, both of them. FCU speed is managed, heading is managed, altitude set to minimum altitude, which should be 10 tau if not mistaken. There's no altitude clearance, but we'll set it to 10,000 for now. Radio is set up, MCU data is checked, MCDU setup has been done, RadNav setup has been set, IFR clearance has been received, IRS align is aligned, flight plan has been reviewed, EFIS nav aids is set both to VOR on both sides, takeoff briefing, Betsy doesn't care, squawk has been set, so cockpit preparation complete. AP, let's set the pre-start checklist. APU master is on, APU is on start, APU bleed set to on, MCDU weights have been inserted, MCU takeoff performance checked. Now let's go for the V speed. So V1 is 140 knots, VR is 140 knots, V2 is 144 knots. APU bleed is on as I said, external power set to off. Seatbelt signs are on and air conditioning as required. We are ready, let's request a push and start. So first things first, let's turn on our beacon. So strobe to auto, beacon on, let's see if GSX operate.
Due to icing conditions, please stand by for engine start until push completed and brake set.
Copy that. So we cannot start the engines until they tell us to. It's also good to be here, Andrew. Thanks for being here as well.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for push bust.
Nice. Where's the agent? The agent should be somewhere around here. I don't see her. Oh, there she is. She just manifested herself, so to speak. Alright, push and start up. Windows and doors are closed and locked. Red band. Red band. Beacon is on. Fuel pumps set to on. Done. Steering pin has been inserted. Nose wheel steering disconnected. Transponder set to auto. Done. TCAS set to standby. It is set to standby. Let's request push and start.
Speedbird 213, gate 30, request push egg.
Speedbird 213, Helsinki ground, push egg approved, face west.
Face
Push
west.
egg approved, face west, Speedbird 213.
Copy, facing west. So southwest on Alpha Charlie. Yeah.
Release parking brake.
Parking brake. Parking brake released.
Commencing push. Due to icing conditions, please stand by for engine start until push is completed and brakes are set.
Nice Finnair aircraft. Nice wing walker there as well. So beacon is on, transponder is auto, TCAS standby, clock run. Almost forgot. Where's Misha when we need him, right? Misha, our good friend. Parking brake is off. We are waiting for pushback to complete because we are probably going to have de-ice the plane.
On our way to Tallinn Airport.
Skyrim
Let's get some light in here. I like to see you, Betsy. That's why. Let's take a look outside because this plane is beautiful. Oops, what's going on with my joystick?
Roger that, Skywinds 9.
My joystick is not responding. Why?
Skywinds 9, ramp 411, request pushback and engine start.
Hello.
Skywinds 9, Helsinki ground, pushback and engine start approved.
Not a good sign.
Pushback and engine start approved. Face southeast.
Sorry about
Skywinds
that.
9.
I just need to check my joystick. Not responding here. Something's going on. Oh. Now it's working. So we are still pushing back, still no clearance to start the engines. But it is a beautiful plane, isn't it? Look at that. Beautiful retro livery. Parking brakes have been set. Alright, let's start our engines. So, engine 1 start. It's going to take a moment. These engines take a moment to start. Yeah, baby, I know. There it comes back to life. We're looking at the EGT because these engines are a little different from the CFM engines. So up here we got EPR, but what we need to see is the EGT coming to life. That means that there's fuel being injected and burned, and so heat is being generated. APU available, engine available, sorry. Start number 2. There will be a day that I perform a SETO, single engine taxi out, but not today.
Skywinds 9, ready to taxi to the active.
Skywinds 9, runway T2 right taxi via Charlie Lima, Yankee, Delta Kilo, Alpha Delta, Delta Foxtrot, Zulu Golf, Whiskey
Hello,
Golf,
Mirsha.
Whiskey Delta, hold short runway 15.
Yeah, no problem, Mirsha.
Runway
Have a
T2
good
right
one.
taxi via Charlie Lima, Yankee, Delta Kilo, Alpha Delta, Delta Foxtrot, Zulu Golf, Whiskey Golf.
Here comes
Whiskey
EGT.
Delta, hold short runway 15, Skywinds 9.
Alright, it seems like we got a good engine start.
Be advised, information for partner current, GNH 1014.
We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
So, uncage our standby artificial horizon. Old school. Looks like our second engine is on. It is on, so everything looks fine. So we can turn off our APU bleed. I don't think we need de-icing. Doesn't look like we're gonna need de-icing.
Runway 15 at Charlie Lima. Continue taxi via Yankee Lima, Yankee, Delta Kilo, Alpha Delta, Delta Foxtrot, Zulu.
Oh, this
Zulu Golf.
aircraft doesn't
Hold short
have
runway 22 left.
landing gear.
Skywinds 9.
Look at that. This one has. This one does not. Like airborne or something. Floating me there. Little quirks from traffic, right? Waiting for the pin so we can continue our... So engine mode selector set back to normal, APU bleed is off, APU master switch to off, anti-ice as required. Hot outside temperature is plus 6 degrees, so no ice detected, or at least expected. Where's our pin? Oh, she's gone with our pin. Before taxi checklist, auto brake set to, oh, sorry about that. Auto brake set to max. Spoilers armed. Flaps set for takeoff. Engine NTI says required. Flight controls, let's go. Full deflection left. Neutral. Full deflection right. Neutral. Full pitch up. And neutral. Full pitch down. Neutral. Full rudder left. Neutral. Full rudder right. Neutral. Set trim 1.4 up. Why is it coming back to 3 and 4? Ah. Flight control page. Thank you. 1.4 up. Done. Rudder trim reset. Done. And steering pin has been removed before taxi checklist complete. Let's call it in. Let's call taxi for the runway.
213 taxi for departure.
Cabin's ready.
213, runway T2 right taxi via Alpha Charlie, Alpha Golf, Victor Golf, Zulu Golf, hold short runway T2 left.
Runway 22 right taxi via Alpha Charlie, Alpha
smart.
Golf, Victor Golf, Zulu Golf. Hold short runway 22 left, speedbird 213.
Hello.
Hi, Captain. The cabin is now secure for takeoff.
Thank you. Let's reset. Alright, so everything's fine and dandy. So let's go for the taxi checklist. Nose light set to taxi. Runway turn off. To on. Strobe set to auto. Already set. Parking brake off, and off we go. Takeoff config. Check. Done. To clear our flight control page. Alright, so we need to taxi via Alpha, Charlie, Golf, and Victor, and then Zulu. So we're gonna do just that. So I think we need to go right. So Alpha Golf, and now right. That's gonna be a weird taxi, but and then Zulu Golf, which is this one here. All right, let's hold taxi and hold short. Let's go. How are you today, Betsy? Still not talking to me? So you're going to need to hold short runway 22 left and then request runway cross. So without warning, we need always to stop on the red lines or at the last holding point. So this is the first one, Cat 2. This is the last one, Cat 1. So this is the one we'd stop at, unless ATC tells us to stop on Cat 2.
Cross runway T2 left at Zulu Golf. Continue taxi via Zulu Golf, Golf, Whiskey Delta.
Alright.
Cross runway 22 left at Zulu Golf. Continue taxi via Zulu Golf, Whiskey Delta, speedbird 213.
So we need to continue taxi via Zulu Golf, then Golf, and all the way up here. Via Whiskey, right there, Whiskey 2, Whiskey Golf. Alright, so we need to go through this maze here, all the way to this one.
Continue taxi via Zulu Golf, Whiskey Delta.
Seems like we got a plane on our 6.
Continue taxi via Zulu Golf, Whiskey Delta, Skywinds 9.
So far so good. Alright, we can prep our before takeoff checklist. So cabin crew will be notified. Exterior lights will be turning on. Nose wheel lights set for takeoff. Anti-ice is required. Packs, we're going to take off with packs on. TCAS, we're going to set it to above TARA. Weather radar will be turned on. Predictive windshield will be turned on. And winter mode, takeoff memo should be no blue. Alright, so we are coming up here. We're going to need to turn on whiskey or not. What's this maze here? It's really a maze. Hope it's not accelerate too much. Oh, what have I done?
Speedbird 213, contact Helsinki Tower 119.7.
Over to Tower 119.7, Speedbird 213.
Alright, I think I'm going to turn into whiskey directly to the runway threshold. I'm going to stop over there and carry on with our checklists. No need. The ATC is telling me to go all the way through there, but there's no point because we're going to get to the same location. So you should always follow what ATC tells you, but you know, beyond ATC is not really the best in terms of running traffic. So we're going to stop here, run our checklists, and then request departure. That's runway 22 right, so confirmed. Both pilots need to confirm they're seeing the same, by the way. Alright, so before takeoff checklists, cabin crew notify. So all external lights, we're going to set it all as soon as we get our clearance. Anti-ice not required. Packs as turn on. I'm going to turn on a TCAS to TARA and set to above. Weather radar set to on. System number 1 and predictive weather set to auto. Takeoff memo status no blue. Okay, we're ready.
Speedbird 213, ready to go. Runway 22 right. Speedbird 213, Helsinki Tower, wind 175 at 12, runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff.
Runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff. Speedbird 213.
We're gonna line up first, of course, then we'll perform a rolling takeoff. Nice work on the comms, Betsy.
Skywings 9 holding short, runway 22 right. Skywings 9 hold short of 22 right, departing traffic. Affirm, hold short of 22 right, Skywings 9.
Alright, there we go. Fully ready. Here we go. Hello. Where's the flex? There we go. Flex 80 SRS runway.
Runway 22 right, Skywings 9.
100. $120. V1. Rotate. Positive rate. Gear up. And we're airborne.
Skywings 9, Helsinki Tower, wind 175 at 12, runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff. Runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff. Skywings 9.
Thrust climb. Set climb nav.
Contact Helsinki radar 129.85. Contact Helsinki radar 129.85, Speedbird 213. Helsinki radar, Speedbird 213, 1,700 feet.
Speed check flaps up.
Speedbird 213, Helsinki radar. Good afternoon. Identified. Climb to flight level 190.
190.
Flight level 190, Speedbird 213.
Whoops, slipping. following our chart there. We're clear, AP1 set, autopilot 1 set. After takeoff checklist, gear retracted, flaps retracted, spoilers disarmed, thrust set to climb, autopilot as required, nose wheel lights to off, and taxi nose runway turn off lights to off. After takeoff checklist complete.
Scones 9, contact Helsinki Control 12.3, have a good afternoon.
Contact Helsinki Control 12.3, Skyroads 9, bye bye.
O DirectX 12, Santi. Pois é. DirectX 12 agora quase todos os add-ons usam. Okay, QNH set to standard, passing the standard altitude to flight level. So this is a flight from Helsinki. Oh, my mouse is crazy. From Helsinki to London, to Manchester in the UK. Again, I've never flown to Manchester. I did fly to Manchester. It's just been a long time since I flew to Manchester, but it shouldn't be a problem. Famous last words, right? So here we are. Our flight is going to be a very cool flight, and when I say cool I mean cold, because right now the ISA is 0, so our outside temperature is -5, so there could be ice formation in flight, so we need to be careful, taking a good look at our temperatures, our pitot. The airplane has an automated system, but still you can turn on manually if you feel like the plane is not responding correctly. So I'm going to turn off my track IR, because now every time I look down you guys will not see my image also go down. So we can close this, we can send this to flight plan, and as usual we'll wait for the cruising altitude. So we are clear for flight level 190. Let's put this over this side. We got a company message. Let's take a look. It should be the final load sheet. All of this is much easier if you have a co-pilot. So we got our load sheet. There it is. So we already had accepted before. So we got our pre-departure clearance messaging. So it's been sent, and then it took its sweet time, but we did get the response. Now the weather data, that took a lot of time. So yeah, no, there should be some drizzle, but we didn't get that departing Helsinki. Let's go to Helsinki Control and probably get a new altitude clearance. Let's see.
Helsinki Control, speaker 213, good afternoon, to flight level 164 for flight level 190.
We already passed 10,000, we can turn off our... There it is, 380. There it is. So that's our final altitude clearance. When I say final, I mean for the cruise. Funny story about the A320 family of aircraft, and I believe all Airbuses. Oh, TCAS is still on standby. How's that? I swear I turned it to TARA. Weird. So set to all, set back to standby, set TARA. Look at that. Still got a TCAS standby warning, but doesn't make sense because unless there's an issue here with the positioning. So sometimes the perspective messes things up. Let's see, turn on track IR. Let's see. Is that set to off? Yeah. So apparently when I pressed these buttons, I accidentally turned it off, but it was behind the flap lever and I couldn't see it. That's why we have a co-pilot, Betsy. They should have seen that, Betsy. Don't look away from me. That's your responsibility, huh? Can you imagine the issues not having TCAS on? Don't you flip your head on me. Hey! She really hates my guts. Crisis averted. The infamous side stick fault, yeah. That's because we had an issue here with my joystick, but it's working now. Well, let's level out mouse. There it is. Okay, so now we're gonna fly up to our cruising altitude. And we'll wait. Not amazing, just doing my best. Weather is cleared a little bit, but we are expecting to have some rough weather along the way. Northern Europe has been affected quite well with some northern winds that brought some cold to Northern Europe. So from now on, things will be sort of boring, as always. But I'll try to make it interesting as best as I can. I keep asking people, if you want to ask questions, feel free to do so. You can also ask questions in Portuguese, Spanish, some French. So I see that my upper chart there still doesn't tell me the ETA. I'm not sure why that happens. So I'm talking about this setting up here. So that setting, not this one, but that setting up here should say ETA in Zulu time, but it's probably still calculating. It's an external tool, so it most likely is not very smart, but the airplane itself does have a prediction. So we can go here to our flight plan, and it tells us that we should be arriving at 1950 UTC. So currently 17:18. So more or less 1 hour and a half of flight. Sorry, not 1 hour, but 2 hours and a half of flight. But we're going to abbreviate that with time acceleration as usual. I'm just waiting for the plane to reach the top of climb. So most people have heard in the news that Airbus A320 family aircraft are being recalled in an emergency fix by Airbus itself. So really touching the surface on it, because I don't want to get too deep into it. It is related to something that is both not spoken too much about, but a very serious and scary thing. And that's the solar flares or solar activity. So the sun regularly erupts some plasma, so it ejects. It's called coronal ejections. So it ejects matter from its surface. It's very hot surface and ejects matter, given that it's it's a nuclear reaction, constant nuclear reaction, and it ejects some magma that is electromagnetically charged. All right, so let's keep it simple as that. Sometimes those discharges reach Earth, and we have disruptions. Although it's not really noticeable, when they're big, they can disrupt satellite comms. It can disrupt your cell phone coverage. It can disrupt a lot of things. Now imagine a plane flying at 40,000 feet. And of course, it doesn't have the thick atmosphere to protect itself. So everything on board is more exposed to this type of radiation. And it's very dangerous because this type of radiation is it's electromagnetic, so you can think that it affects electronic devices quite a lot. And there was an incident with a JetBlue aircraft in the United States during one intense solar flare event. The plane was affected, and one of the flight computers, called the ELAC, got an erroneous reading, and the plane descended a few thousand feet, causing 15 injured. So it's a very serious situation. The possibilities of that occurring are kind of low, but they still can happen again. Solar flares certainly happen on a regular basis. They do happen quite a lot. So the solar activity is never ending, and we are at peak solar activity till halfway the next year. So the sun will still massively eject material until halfway, and it will still eject matter. It's just that it's going to slow down starting halfway next year, and so there is always a danger. And so Airbus found a weakness on an ELAC computer. So this airplane flies with multiple computers, and they're like a family of computers. So here you see flight control is controlled by ELAC 1, SEC 1, and FAC 1, and on the other side we have ELAC 2, SEC 2, SEC 3, and sorry, let me zoom in. I believe it's FAC 2, yeah, FAC 2. So all these are computers that control the flight controls on both sides, and you can turn them off, but you can't do much more than that. You can turn them off and back on, and they'll reset. What happened in the JetBlue flight is that ELAC 1 failed, and I don't know if it was ELAC 1, ELAC 2, or both, but I do know that it was both ELAC computers, one of the two ELAC computers, or both, and that created a huge issue on board, where people got injured because the plane got the wrong readings. It started to descend. I think it dropped, I believe, 1,000 feet or more. So that might not sound like much, but during a cruise flight where everybody's got their seatbelts off, some people are in the bathroom, a flight attendant is going around with their food and all that. All of a sudden you get a drop in altitude, a sudden drop. It wasn't a mild drop, it was a sudden drop. So there was some injured people. I think you've seen the pictures of people on board with all the food on the floor, because they were serving food by that time. So Airbus found the weakness, and they discovered that these ELAC computers were quite exposed to the radiation coming from solar flares. And so they decided to recall most of the aircraft that have the software and the hardware compared to the JetBlue airplane. And that recall will either upgrade the software or the hardware, depending on the circumstances. You can imagine how hard it will be to recall thousands of planes, but that's a necessary precaution. So in Flight Simulator, we're not exposed to this, so we're not going to get solar flare affected, not yet at least. I don't think any simulation out there replicates that. But you can imagine real-life airlines having to deal with this and having to cancel some flights.
Helsinki
Alright, so we're almost at our top of climb, and we'll time accelerate in a moment. So we've been flying for 16 minutes. We have been out of the gate out of more or less 30 minutes. Took us a long time to really get to the runway and take off. 14 minutes to do so. Yeah, welcome all guys. Remember, if you want to help, there's a link in the description to buy me a coffee. That's pretty much it. You donate whatever you want, whatever you can, and it really helps the channel. Some people donate as little as €1 or €2. That's or $1, $2. That really helps because I can then add to it and buy the next add-on. And I'm looking into getting a couple of new aircraft in the future. They're not released yet. 2 of them are not released yet. One is, but I'm still waiting for the right time. It's just not compatible with my wallet. Alright, so cruising altitude. We got alt cruise, Mac, and nav. So cruise checklist, nav aids as required, seatbelt signs. Let's turn them off. Let the passengers stroll around the cabin. So for now, there's no turbulence up ahead. We're looking good. Let's set this to 160 knots, 160 miles away. 320, yeah, looks good. So right now we're going to time accelerate and hope for the best. So MCDU menu, maintenance, and sim rate set to 2 and 4. So difference between this airplane and the last couple, right? So FSL 321 Neo and the Inibuilds 350. GSX worked well. I would say Beyond ATC worked well as well, although I did see an airplane without landing gear on the ground, but that's probably just a flight model of the ground models I have. I'm using FSLTL, and I'm using also AIG, and they both have flaws. So I would say that's a flaw. A flaw on the flight models. But other than that, you can see how you know, uneventful this flight can be. With the Fenix aircraft. It looks like Fenix does take some time to optimize stuff and make it work between third parties and themselves. And I really wished every single add-on would do the same. So, good lesson for everyone else. So we're time accelerating stuff, and as we do that, things will get a little funky. You'll see that my VSI will jump up and down. I'll explain why that happens, but you will also see that the ATC will start pumping out instructions, but that's because we've accelerated time four times, so it's perfectly normal. Why does this happen? Why does the VSI fluctuate sometimes? Well, it's all about pressure, air pressure. So sometimes air pressure drops. We do have our altimeters set to standard, so it will tend to go up and down quite a bit. Although when time is normal, you don't notice it that much. You see the arrow go up or down ever so slightly once in a while. When we time accelerate, of course, those fluctuations are more visible, but that's about it. You know, the plane in flight will not be on a steady speed and on a steady cruise. It will go up slightly, go down slightly. That's by design. Not only is the plane compensating for air pressure, which is never the same around the world, it's constantly fluctuating. Let's go to Sweden now.
Decimal 0, speedbird 213.
There it is.
Sweden Control, speedbird 213, flight level 380. Discover 65 Romeo, contact Stockholm approach 126.
And then we'll go to Norway as well.
Contact Stockholm approach 136.655, Discover 65 Romeo.
We're making a little
Speedbird 213, Sweden Control.
course over the Nordic countries. We're just not going to cross Denmark, but this is the Scandinavian. So this is Russia right here, this is Finland, this is Sweden, and this is Norway, and this is the infamous Kola Peninsula right here on the top. So you can see Russia is as a big chunk of the European continent on their side. Still don't have an ETA on that top bar. Not sure why. It's supposed to calculate ETA with the flight as the flight progresses, but as long as we have the progress bar, that's fine, I suppose. Let's try to include everything necessary for the flight right now. So welcome all to my channel. My name is João, and I'm a Portuguese simmer, a long-time Portuguese simmer. I've been flying every single commercial aircraft simulator since they come out. I love civilian aviation. It's my passion. I never got the chance to become a real-life pilot, but I did train a lot to do pretty much what they do as best as I can. I'm not trying to instruct anyone, but I do explain what I'm doing, because when I started flying on my own, I really loved when someone took their time to explain stuff to me. And sometimes they did, sometimes they didn't. I just wish I had a channel like mine when I was flying back in the day, because I really miss that tutor, you know, to help you around. Where are you? Oh, there it is. This is the beautiful British Airways retrojet. It's representing the good old BEA before British Airways was British Airways. I've seen, I believe it was a Vickers Viscount, so a propeller plane with this livery. Well, I've not seen it in real life. I mean, I've seen this livery applied to other aircraft, and one of them was the Vickers Viscount, and I believe the 747, the early versions of the 747 already still had this paint job. I'm not sure. Yeah, but back then on the British Airways 747, it was BA, it was BOAC, British Overseas Company, and I believe they then merged and became British Airways. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's the history of it. About the external lights, I got a question from another user that was watching one of my streams, and he first asked, why isn't the logo on the tail lit up? That's an Airbus thing. Only the Boeing fly with the logo turned on. The Airbus does not. I'm not sure if this is an European thing or if this is a company thing, because I know in the United States they usually fly with the logo on because of aircraft identification. But nowadays it's not really relevant because your transponder identifies your plane, so it's irrelevant to fly with the logo light on. But on Airbus there's no configuration where the logo light is turned on. They're set right here on the horizontal plane and projected to the top, and that's not turned on any aspect when the plane's not on wheels. So when it flies, the light turns off and it stays like that till the gear comes down again, and I believe after touchdown only. As for the wing lights, now this is a company thing. Sometimes I've seen procedures where the wing light is turned off immediately after gear retraction to save the light mostly. But some airlines do keep the light on, especially if there's ice suspected, or if there's expected ice formation, so they leave it on to inspect the wing. This wing does two things. First of all, it illuminates the wing and the engine to allow any internal inspection from the crew to see if there's anything wrong, if there's ice forming on the wings, for example. The plane has detection, ice detection, but you know, it's nothing like looking outside and verifying. And it also serves for the passengers, because without this light, in pure black days where there's no moon, they see absolutely nothing outside sometimes. So the wing light stays on so that passengers can be assured that the wing's still there and they have something to look at during flight. And it assures people to see that the engine's alright. If there's some vibration or some turbulence, they can look outside, see the engine still working. It's an assurance thing, if you want. But yeah, fun story. So here's Betsy. Betsy is my AI assistant. She handles comms. She has a very pretty British accent, which I like very much, but she never talks to me. She keeps looking away and she's not communicating at all. Let's see, passengers are in. So I've looked into the forums for GSX, and apparently the passengers are turned off during flight to save on FPS. I'm not sure that happens to all planes, but it turns off, so they will not show up during flight. They will only show up during takeoff and landing, well, at the gate, of course, but then it's turned off. I'm not sure about that. We'll take a look when we land. We'll open the door to see if they're there or not. For now, let's just shut that door. So we are coming up on the ETP, so the equal time point. Until this point, it's preferable to go back to the origin airport. After this point, it's preferable to go to the destination point. This is more important for flights without nearby airports, so transatlantic flights or trans-Pacific flights. If you only have a point of origin and a point of destination with no airports possible, even with ETOPS, then it's preferable to go all the way to the destination past this point, or it's preferable to just go back to the origin before this point. So it's just an equal time point. So let's set up our destination as we should. So let's go to performance, next phase, and next phase again, and there it is, approach. So let's bring our trusted Simbrief weather system. It's the only system I trust these days. So let's populate from last flight, search, and there's a GCC. So this is the weather currently at Manchester. So it's an automated system, by the way. So we got wind 170 at 3. We got cloud scatter at 3,900 feet. Temperature 05, dew point 02, and QNH 1010. So let's insert that 1010. We got temperature 05, so 5. We got wind at 170 at 3, 170 at 3. Whoops, not K3, but just 3. There it is. And now we're going to check our, so we're always going to land at config 3 these days. Airbus is making it almost like mandatory to, oh, we probably got a delay. Let's take a look at that. We got a company message, probably a delay, ADC. Yep, there it is. So we got a delay request for 13 minutes. That's how late we are. So ADC delay card on the company tablet and allocate per OM. So I'm not going to do that because it's pointless. I'm not working for an airline. This is very useful for real ACARs and real life operations, or at least VA operations, virtual airlines. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set up the ATC delay. So, oh, this is cloned? I didn't know this. Alright, so we are going to send the ADC delay for 13 minutes. So, 13. And we're going to say codes, I don't know. Papa Lima 23, whatever. Doesn't matter. And send. Sent. Let's go back to received messages. Let's wait for them to digest what I sent, and there it is. ADC received. So when it's not accepted, it will say something like not incorrect format or something. But if it's done correctly, then it just says received. So we just confirmed that we are 13 minutes late. That's unless we get some wind change. That's what we're expecting. But we really have nose wind, so at best it will get worse past the redundancy. So what else can we do? So we got our performance in. Now we can set up our flight plan destination. So let's go back here to the flights. Sorry, home. Whoa. The flight was right there. I just missed it. There it is. New flight. So we are expecting a routing to arrive on runway 323 right via till 1 mic. We're going to set that up, but as you know, most of the times that's probably going to change. We'll see. So ILS 23 right, correct, via till 1 mic. Oops. What am I doing? It's this one. Till 1 mic. There it is. No transition apparently, but let's see. Do we have a via MCT? Probably required, so it's not even giving me an option. Temporary insert. And now we got our plan set up for runway 23 right. So now we're just going to wait for them to give us the correct or most accurate approach. Probably 23 right, probably till 1 mic. That's what we planned here, but we may never know. As for the weather back there, just gonna set it again. I kind of like to go through the history of the METARs, and this is a good feature on this Simbrief page, WX page. So we can see that the weather has been kind of steady. So the possibility of this changing radically is quite low. And as you can see, the automated system has generated a report at 1620, 1650, and now 1720. So the automated system will generate a METAR every time it's required, just like the manual one or the regular one, but this one is a little faster in generating reports, or more frequent if you want. And the only thing it added recently was a variable wind, so it's variable between 140 and 220, and that could be an issue for airports with one single runway. We're also going to look at the ATIS. This is supplied by VATSIM. Not all airports will have it, only on airports that are currently controlled. So we got Manchester Information Uniform. It's automatic, like the METAR is. So arrival runway 23 right, departure runway 23 left, transition level 65, so at 6,500 feet we'll start calling it feet. We're going to Oslo, so we're transitioning to Norway. So the winds are pretty much the same, 170.03, 140 variable 220, visibility 10 kilometers, that's what the 999 stands for. Clouds are scattered, temperature 05, dew point 02, QNH 1010, no significant change. This is very important for us. Flight crews are reminded to use minimum runway occupancy. Not sure if that's that's a regular NOTAM, but yeah, whatever. It's 80s from VATSIM, so VATSIM guys are telling passenger pilots to just get off the runway as fast as they can. As for the NOTAMs, they're only really fun to see, but they're not really applicable on Flight Simulator. So, yeah, I heard about this, lasers and searchlights and the radius. Yeah, this has been a huge problem for visibility, but that's not modeled in our simulator. So all operations require ground handling companies before planning Manchester Airport as a diversion alternate and for non-base carriers. This is subject to agreement by Manchester Airport. Significant delays may apply due to stand availability. Well, there's a typo there. Aviability, it's not aviability, availability. All emergency TFC is not subject to this restriction. So all emergency traffic is not subject to this restriction. So as you can imagine, this is not applicable for us. And stand 61 Lima has been as a new alignment, so no painted ground lead in marks in taxiway Delta. Stands are marshaled on and pilots are to follow marshalers' instructions. That's probably not our case to go to stand 61 Lima, I'm not sure, but even if it was, the idea is that this is not simulated. I wish we could have a simulator where these things are simulated, you know, as in real NOTAMs being applied to the simulation. That's still a long way to come. All right, we can already see our top of descent mark. Yeah, we are now crossing. We're about to go to UK air traffic control. So we're about to cross the boundary between the Oslo control into, I believe it's London control. Not sure. We'll see. Or Ireland, probably Ireland control, Irish control, and then into England control. I gotta go to Glasgow one of these days, Andrew. And fly to Scotland one of these days. I just need to find the right route and the right combination of airports to do so. Glasgow or Edinburgh? What do you say, Andrew? Yeah, it's Scottish control, not Irish. So we'll go to Scottish control. There it is. And so we're going to do our switcheroo, and then we'll go to London control.
Scottish control, speedbird 213, flight level 380. Speedbird 213, Scottish control, radar contact.
Let's get our charts before anything else. So we are going to go for runway 22 right via Tilney 1 Mike. There it is. So we're going to come in from Tilney, and it's not going to be a straight in approach though, but we are going to make probably, well, if it's 2-3, we're going to go probably southwest, sorry, and then turn left. We'll see. And as for ILS, it's pretty standard. No, sorry, what I meant was I'm going to make this approach right here, going straight down here and then turn right, not left. looks cool. So we got our decision height at 449er. Let's go back to our performance, set that up. Next phase, next phase. So sorry, did I say 449? Yeah, 449. So 449er, set that to baro reference. So there's a difference between baro and radio. If you want to insert radio, you can do it, and the clearance should be 200 as a standard. It's not really a good procedure though, because the radar altimeter will fluctuate with the terrain. So the terrain is not even, especially if you fly over a city or a mountain. So the terrain will not be even, and so the radar altimeter will give you different readings as it approaches climbs or descents. So when that happens, we need to understand that radio altimeter will not be as reliable as a baro, because that's set on altimeter baro reference. So it's meaning sea level altitude. It's much more stable, even if there are fluctuations, but it will be much more stable than using the radar altimeter. But if you don't know what the altitude, decision height altitude for the specific airport should be, you can set it to 200 feet radar, because that's, I would say, between 60 to 70% of all airports in the world, the radar altimeter will always be somewhere between 200 and 250, something like that, as a decision altitude. And what is the decision altitude? Well, it's the altitude that you decide to land, as the name implies. It's when you have the minimum altitude set and you can see the runway and you decide to continue or not. If at decision altitude you don't have the runway in sight, and that's only applicable, of course, for normal ILS approaches, then you should go around. If you're performing a Cat 2, Cat 3, it depends. The decision heights are different with those kinds of approaches. And if you go on a Cat 3B, then you don't even have a decision altitude, because it's probably an auto land. I'm not sure if it's even possible to make a manual landing on Cat 3B. That's very low RVR. It's like less than 100 feet, if I'm not mistaken. With less than 100 feet, you can't see the runway at all to decide to land or not. Of course, nowadays planes are much safer, and so the decision heights are more like confirmations, because even if you don't see the runway and you do need to go around, the next approach can happen in Cat 3 and you will land the plane. So let's prepare our descent checklist, even though we are still a bit far away. MCDU landing performance has been reviewed. We got a TCAS will be set to below. The approach briefing will be completed if Betsy wants to. Nav aids will be reviewed. NTIs will not be required. So far we got deviation -5. We can turn on if we see a deviation becoming much lower than that. I don't think it will. Seat belts will be turned on, and then at the baro reference we'll set the transition, and below 10,000 feet seat belt signs to on, landing lights on, and wing lights on. That's the descent checklist briefing before we start our actual descent, and then we'll go through this checklist again. So guys, welcome all to my channel. We're coming in for the approach to Manchester Airport in a moment. If you want to help the channel, you have your opportunity to buy me a coffee. There's a QR code on your upper right screen, as well as a link in the description below, or in the chat there's a fixed message with the link to do so. And I thank you very much for everyone that's been contributing to this channel. Remember, I'm a small channel, so it's not monetized, and it won't be monetized anytime soon. So any help you feel your heart you can do will be quite helpful to continue on making these flights for you guys. You can speak in English or Portuguese. I'm fluent in both. So let's wait for our clearance here. As soon as we get a clearance, I'll get out of accelerated time.
Contact London Control 118.775, Max 192. Have a good afternoon.
Just waiting for them to call me in. As soon as they do, I'll get out of accelerated time. As you can see, the temperature is dropping quite a bit. So we do have ice formation conditions right now. If there's rain, then it will certainly ice stuff up. Although we have an auto setting, we can, on some planes we have an ice detector. We can turn on the anti-ice system, and there you go. Expect till 1 November runway 23 right. That's exactly what we planned for, so we're going to accept it. And we're ready for descent. Let's call it in, Betsy. Call it ready for descent, please.
Speaker 213 approaching our top of descent. Ready for descent. Speaker 213, runway 1 Mike, runway 23 right, descend to flight level 250.
250.
Runway 23 right, descend to flight level 250, speaker 213.
There we go. We're gonna manage descent. So it's asking me for more drag, so we're gonna extend the speed brakes momentarily. And as we continue on, we're gonna bring the speed brakes back in. There we go. So we are going to reach Tilney in a moment. Here we are. So we're entering the Scottish shore. Say hi to Andrew. Going over Scotland right now. So let's perform our descent checklist above the line. So MCDU landing performance has been reviewed. TCAS set to below. Not going to try to mess things up now. Set to below. Approach briefing has been done, I think. Navigates reviewed. NTIs as required. EFIS and D set to constrain. They're both set to constrain. And seatbelt signs are on. Constraint. All right. So descent checklist above the line complete. So we just need to go through the transition altitude, but before that we're going to transition between 10,000 feet. That's when we turn on our seatbelt signs, turn on our landing lights and our wing lights if they're already on, which they are. And then after that we go to transition level and set the current altimeter, which is 1010. So we're turning in now towards England. We're still on Scottish airspace. This is one of 2 turns we'll be making. Actually 3 turns until we get into our approach sector. So this is the home country of our good friend Andrew. We've been flying. Alright, switching to London control. There it is. So we are on London control now. So we are crossing Sunderland now.
Speedbird 213, London control, radar contact.
And we're gonna pass Bernard Castle up ahead. Bernard.
Easy 704 Lima, London control, radar contact. Easy 981 Whiskey, descend to flight level 330.
Lots of EasyJet, Speedbirds all around. EasyJet is one of the companies I most flew back in the day when I used to fly a lot for work. Down Portugal, of course. I only flew once on the British Airways airline, and it wasn't actually British Airways, it was BA Airways, so it was like a subsidiary for British Airways. Not BA Airways, or it was a GB Airways, I think. Yeah, GB Airways, something like that. So never flew actually for British Airways. And as far as I remember, I only flew once on an Airbus A319 in real life. I flew A320s, A321s, including the Neos, but I only flew once on the 319. And I remember it quite well because it was an older plane and it only had 1 jump seat, because I usually flew on with friends, and I always flew in almost all the times I flew in the cockpit, and there were always 2 jump seats. But on that specific older plane, the 319, it was just 1 jump seat. And of course it was a smaller cabin, I do remember that.
Easy 981 Whiskey, descend to flight level 290. Descend to flight level 290, Easy 981.
So we're coming up on our first constraint as flight level 250, should be above that, and we'll be crossing at that altitude. After that there's no restrictions, and well, not in this particular approach, but there will be further restrictions down the road. As you can see here, we're going to have a 250 knot restriction and settle, and then another one, 230 knots. So after we pass Gasco, we could probably going to get a clearance for flight level 070, and at that point we'll need to reduce to 250 knots and then 230 knots. So we are at flight level 250.
Steamer 213, descend to flight level 070.
See it's flight levels 070. So let's set that to manage as well.
Contact Manchester Director 12.355.
Contact Manchester Director 121.
It's a nice highway here, or some looks like a highway.
Easy 981 Whiskey, descend to flight level 240. Descend to flight level 240, Easy 981 Whiskey. Easy 708 Alpha, London Control. Expect Apple 1 Golf, runway 23.
Expect Apple 1 Golf, runway 23, Easy 708 Alpha.
Easy 204 Papa, radar vectors, ILS runway 26.
hello man. It's where they have those motorcycle races, crazy fast, that go through villages like it's nothing. I'm not sure if it's a deadly race, but it looks so dangerous. There used to be a simulator, a game actually. Well, we need more drag because it's underperforming right now, so let's extend our speed brake. Fenix Airbuses tend to be quite shallow on their approaches, so always be careful and take a good look at your descent rate. If it's not reasonable, then just go manual. I'm using manage right now because it saves me from workflow, but it's a lazy approach. You should always be on top of the plane and not the other way around. 1006, it's definitely not Manchester. Right, we're at speed brake in. Second of 3 turns. We are already confirming, well, it's within the bracket, it's not really 250 knots, but we should get close to that next constraint, 250 knots and settle. So the plane's already maneuvering towards it, and so after Begum it will start derating the descent if you want, so that it can keep 250 knots. You can also help the plane by extending speed brakes, of course. You see, this is something that it can happen with wind. So you see the plane kind of looks like it's overshooting the turn. It's not, it's compensating for the very strong winds coming from the right. So it kind of looks like it's almost overshooting settle. It's not. The airplane's just flying sideways. If you look here, you have your magnetic heading, well, our true heading and our nose heading. So they are different headings because this one is the actual point where the nose is pointing at, and this is the actual flight path, flight direction, or heading, flight heading if you want. So you see there's a discrepancy of almost 10 degrees, more than 10 degrees actually, and that's because of the wind. Wind coefficient right now is 38 knots. It's actually reducing as we go down, but it's still a bit strong wind, crosswind. Hopefully there's no such crosswinds on our landing. So although it kind of looks like on the upper bar that we're halfway through flight, we're actually on the final section. We're on the approach to Manchester Airport, so not long now to land. So stick around if you want to witness this approach and landing. We've seen the weather, there's no rain, visibility is okay-ish, it's above 10,000 statute miles, so good conditions to land, good conditions to fly. The only downside to it is that we're flying at night, so it's always a bit risky, but I would say in terms of aerial awareness, flying at night is a lot better than flying it during the day, because you can see other planes much better, you can see lighting much better. But if the weather closes down, if the weather starts becoming bad, then flying at night, it just compounds stuff to make it even harder. But I don't predict that today. I predict a good approach. If anything fails, it's just me.
Radar vectors, Zulu runway 14, report ready for descent. Radar vectors,
Gemstone. Company airlines nowadays have weird call signs. So Gemstone or Moonraker. Come on, guys. So we can see our plane, our little plane here, following the approach path. Now it's going to make a left-hand turn to 171 degrees towards Rosen, where it should reduce its airspeed from 250 knots to 230 knots. Plane's not doing a good job to keep that speed though.
Contact Manchester Director 121.355, speed of 213.
Alright, things now should work fast, so we're gonna perform the last turn, and then the next turn should be for the approach. So we're gonna need vectors for ILS. That's never a good thing with beyond ATC, but we'll see. Should take us directly to MCT. No, I'm not sure why it's not. So it needs more drag again. Speed brakes out. We'll need to follow what ATC tells us, of course. So we're gonna carry on flying this way, and then we'll turn as they tell us to. Passing 10,000 feet, so external lights to on. Set checklist below the line, seatbelt signs to on, already on, landing lights set to on, and wing lights already on. Set checklist below the line, complete. All we need is barrel reference set to local after transition altitude, which is at 6,500 feet. Alright, speed breaker in. Don't accelerate. 1010. Still waiting for the vectors. It's probably only going to happen after we pass these final waypoints on the star. So after we pass Rosen, that's probably when you're going to get the radar vectors. So got our ILS data right there. Alright, we're gonna leave Rosen, so we still need to fly direct to Rosen and then turn left 120. So here comes our altitude constraint, and now it can reduce speed to keep also the speed constraint. Well, cabin's ready already. Nice. There we go. As we pass Rosen, we'll turn heading 120. We can start our turn right now.
Turn left, heading 130, speed of 213.
30. Alright. still don't have an altitude clearance.
03, descend to flight level 060.
Descend to flight level 060, speed of 213.
Manchester Director, Ryanair 44 Victor Foxtrot,
Come on.
flight level 094, lift power board. Ryanair 44 Victor Foxtrot, Manchester Director, QNH 1010, expect radar vectors for ILS runway 23 right. QNH 1010, expect radar vectors for ILS runway 23 right, Ryanair 44 Victor Foxtrot. Manchester Director, SO2 Mike Charlie, flight level 104 with information for power.
Not sure what it's trying to do here, but I think it's going to take us to this point here. Not sure. We are at the mercy of the ATC right now, so if it fails, it fails. It's getting a little tight, guys. Come on.
Manchester Director, Charlie C. Foxtrot Whiskey, flight level 116 with power on board.
Don't forget about us. 1-1.
Turn left, heading 110, descend to 5,000 feet, QNH 1010, speed of 213.
Speed of 213, fly present heading, descend to 4,000 feet.
Flight present heading, descend to 4,000 feet, speed of 213.
I said to Mike Charlie, leave Rossum heading 120, expect radar vectors for ILS runway 23 right. Leave Rossum heading 120, expect radar vectors for ILS runway 23 right, I said to Mike Charlie. Ryanair 44 Victor Foxtrot, descend to flight level 060. Descend to flight level 060, Ryanair 44 Victor Foxtrot. I said to Mike Charlie, turn left, heading 125 vectors for the approach. Turn left, heading 125, I said to Mike Charlie. Speed of 213, 4 miles from CF23R, turn right, heading 195, maintain 3,500 feet until established on the final approach course, cleared ILS runway 23 right.
Turn right, heading 195, 3,500 feet until established, cleared ILS runway 23 right, speed of 213.
There we go.
I said to Mike Charlie, descend to flight level 060. Descend to flight level 060, I said to Mike Charlie. Shanix 8 Foxtrot Whiskey Manchester Director, good afternoon, QNH 1010, expect radar vectors for ILS runway 23 right.
QNH 1010, expect radar vectors for ILS runway 23 right, Shanix 8 Foxtrot Whiskey.
Shanix 8 Foxtrot Whiskey, turn right, heading 015 vectors for the approach.
Turn right, heading 015, Shanix 8 Foxtrot Whiskey.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. Autopilot off.
Shanix 28 Papa Charlie, descend to 5,000 feet, QNH 1010. Descend to 5,000 feet, QNH 1010, Shanix 28 Papa Charlie.
So it's runway 22 right on the right side over there.
Descend to flight level 060, Shanix 8 Foxtrot Whiskey.
Shanix 28 Papa Charlie, turn left, heading 340, descend to 4,000
ADC just messed up our vectors, so I'm gonna try to recover, but it's not gonna be easy. Here you go. Approach checklist. Landing checklist, defeats as required, and the terrain on the right side. There we go. So we got our flight director operational now. Yeah, I know. It's not descent.
Speedbird 213, contact Manchester Tower 118.63.
Contact Tower 118.63, Speedbird 213. Have a good afternoon. Manchester Tower, Speedbird 213, ALS runway 23 right. Speedbird 213, Manchester Tower, 1175 at 2 runway 23 right, clear to land. Runway 23 right, clear to land, Speedbird 213.
Yeah, it's not an easy thing to do here, but we really need that flight director to direct us. It's not doing that just now. Alright. We check flaps 1. There we go. Now it's back online with the ILS. Alright, there we go. A little low, I know. We need to wait a little bit. So, speed brakes armed, auto brake to medium, low, alright. And let's add a little more drag, flaps 2, set, and gear down. We have clearance to land, landing checklist, gear down, external lights set to all. This is where it gets tricky, being solo.
Channel X28 Papa Charlie, Manchester Tower continue.
Nice and steady.
1000.
1000, check. Little low. And flaps 3. Ecom status set, no blue. Landing checklist complete. Smooth. Smooth. Little low.
500.
500, check. Land. And speed.
100 above.
Checked.
Minimum.
Continue.
Flight slow.
Light slow checked.
50. 30.
Oh,
20.
wind got.
Retard.
Look at the wind.
Retard.
Oh my god. That's a
Don't
bump.
sink.
No, don't worry. Everything's under control. Reverse. You see the wind change abruptly right on the threshold? That was a scary thing, man.
Manchester Tower.
Roll out.
Charlie, ALS runway 23 right.
ISO 2 Mike Charlie, Manchester Tower continue.
That was a long landing.
ISO 2 Mike Charlie.
Auto brake off.
Speedbird 213, exit right, Alpha Golf. Exit right at Alpha Golf,
Idle.
Speedbird 213.
So we're gonna exit right here. I believe it's Golf. Bumpy landing, but I've done worse. I mean, my fans can say that. Right, we have exited. Now we're gonna need. That was very scary because the wind just came out of nowhere.
Contact ground 121 055.
Should be a go around, but I thought I had it under control, and I think I did. So taxi to assigned gate.
Speedbird 213, request taxi to assigned gate.
Speedbird 213, gate 41 taxi via Alpha Echo, Alpha Foxtrot, Alpha Bravo, Juliet, Juliet Foxtrot.
Jesus.
41 via Alpha Echo, Alpha Foxtrot, Alpha Bravo, Juliet, Juliet Foxtrot, Speedbird 213.
So Alpha Echo, where we are right now, then turn right to Alpha, then B, continue forward, then J, good God, and J Fox. So it's Pier A. Alright, let's go. Whew. Alright, let's clear the aircraft. We'll do an after landing checklist in a moment. Let's just control it. You weren't much of a help here, Betsy. Sorry to say. That was a bumpy, scary landing, but I think the wind was a bit too strong on that threshold.
844 left taxi via Bravo Delta, Alpha Bravo, Juliet, Juliet Foxtrot.
844 left via Bravo Delta, Alpha, Bravo, Juliet, Juliet Foxtrot, depart Charlie.
Alright, APU available. APU bleed on. After landing checklist, landing lights set off. You're gonna wait there, buddy. Nose wheel lights set to taxi. Flaps are up. Speed brakes are in.
Gate 9 via Bravo Delta, Alpha, Bravo, Juliet, Juliet Echo.
Weather radar,
27X
turn it off. Switch and predictive wind shear. Ah, come on, guys. This traffic doesn't respect anything. I was already on the lane. You have to give right of way, of course, but I was already on the lane. Probably wind shears was there, yes. Probably wind shear. So let me just confirm I'm going in the right direction, because I've never flown this layout before. It's been a long time since I flew to Manchester. Yep, it's going forth, just as I predicted. So going forth here, and then going to Pier Alpha. Hopefully GSX will be waiting for us. It's always a big unknown. So landing flaps 3 off. So TCAS set to off. Terrain set to off as well. APU is already on, and wing NTIS is off, engine NTIS not required, APU bleed is on, and that's it. After landing checklists above the line complete. I need to have one of those tools like Valdemar has of the landing replay, so we can see how scary this landing was, but I bet this plane's got to go to maintenance. Pretty sure. Alright, let's go forth now, and then at the end of this taxiway right there, it's going to make a left turn into Pier Alpha, and it should be right next to the second plane. So it's going to be gate 41. Right next to that British Airways, right there. So I'm gonna take this one away so we can see better. Welcome to Manchester. Right hand turn. Oh, it's another A319, by the way. Or is that an A320? Not sure. So where's 41? 42. And 41 is that one over there? Yep, that's 41. Well, let's taxi in. I don't see GSX anywhere, so let's hope it's working. So let's confirm that before we do anything more. Yeah, see, it's not working. So gate 41. There it is. No follow me. Operated by Ryanair. Why? Huh. Anyway, now we got GSX working. It's on a test, alright. There we go. I don't know why the handling is done by Ryanair, but maybe it's
Speedbird 3 Tango, at gate 42 request push back and engine start.
nice and slow.
Ground, hold position for traffic. I'll call you back.
We didn't perform a single engine taxi in, but
Ryanair 44 Victor Foxtrot, gate 47 taxi via Bravo Delta Alpha Bravo Juliet.
Gate 47.
so holding the pedals, turn off the runway turn off lights, as well as the taxi lights, and stop. Too far, sorry about that. And parking brake set. I know. There's always a cheat you can do, is just when you stop your engines, just go GSX menu and then you'll have an option to reset the parking brake, the parking position. Alright, so we got our engines being turned off, we got our EPU on, of course, and now engine 1 and engine 2 turning off.
Speedbird 3 Tango, Manchester Grand, push approved.
Deboard.
Face north. Push back and engine start approved, face north. Speedbird 3 Tango.
Not entirely sure the developer of this airport, so I'm not even sure if GSX is actually compatible here, but I hope it is. It doesn't look like it is, but I hope it is. So let's go Phoenix. And hello? Oh, beacon off. Is that it? Yeah, that's a trigger. It varies from plane to plane, so sorry if I sometimes don't know exactly what triggers the deboarding stuff. Now it's all automated, hopefully. So the doors will open, the passengers will start walking out, the whole shebang. Alright, parking checklist. Parking brake is set. Nav 8's set to off. Flight director set to off, as well as landing system. I'm gonna also turn off the constraints.
Speedbird 3 Tango, request taxi.
FCU reset, so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna set 100.
Taxi via Juliet Foxtrot, Juliet Kilo Papa Delta Zulu Tango. Hold short runway 23 right. Runway 23
100.
left, taxi via Juliet Foxtrot, Juliet Kilo Papa Delta Zulu Tango. Hold short runway 23 right. Speedbird 3 Tango.
And 100. This is how I do it. Flight directors 1 and 2 are off, as I said, and the ARC 10, 10 and ARC, 10 and ARC. NTI is already off. Engine master switches are set both to off. Fuel pumps to off. Even though we got our APU, but it's got its own feeding system, so no worries. Beacon is off. Seatbelt signs to off. Emergency exit lights off. Transponder set to off. And external power on if available. It is.
Speedbird 3 Tango, cross runway
After
23 right to Delta Zulu.
external
Taxi
power,
via Papa Delta Zulu Tango.
APU master switch to off, APU bleed to off, and parking checklist complete. The plane is parked. Betsy's so enjoyable as a company, and the passengers are flowing out. So this is where we are also going to say goodbye. I'm going to open our door here and tell our passengers that we appreciate their business. That's a very tall dude right there. Thank you for coming, sir. Hope you guys didn't crap your pants on that landing. Sorry about that. Seems that you are all coming from the same spawn position or similar. Thank you, sir. Thank you for flying British Airways. Yeah, the co-pilot landed the plane, so it's her fault. Sorry about that, guys. You know, she's not in her days. She was kind of pissed, so bad takeoff. Sorry, bad landing. Yeah, I made the takeoff, by the way, really smooth. But she landed it, so sorry about that. Oh yeah, this is a jetway. Anyway, this has been our very pleasant flight from Helsinki to Manchester. This is Manchester Airport in the UK. Thank you all for coming. I hope you guys enjoyed this flight. It was quite an eventful flight until the landing, but the landing was okay-ish. It was a bit scary, a little bumpy, but I did have this very strong wind, and all of a sudden I lost lift and just touched violently. The plane is going to need some maintenance, I'm pretty sure, but no one, I mean, it wasn't that bad, right? I need to check the brake temperatures. Let me confirm that before we go anywhere. Yeah, look at that. I didn't even overheat the brakes. Come on, guys. It wasn't a bad landing. I'm still going to turn on the brake fan because I love the sound of it. There it is. I mean, you guys like the sound of it. Oh, sorry, sir. Let me go down there real quick. There are the brake fans. Some people find it annoying. I kind of like it. And these engines, they look a little too fast for windmilling. It's probably by design, not entirely. I don't really, I'm not really familiar with this engine. Maybe they windmill this fast with air pressure to cool down. Maybe it's part of the procedure. I'm not going to argue with that. Brake fans, look at that. They're working all right. It's got Michelin tires. I don't even put Michelins in my car. Quite expensive ones. Anyway, this has been A319 from Fenix Simulations. As always, a pleasant flight. I rarely have issues with Fenix aircraft, and those that I do have are mostly performance. I mean, actual aircraft performance, not graphics performance. But other than that, it's been a great flight. Thank you all for coming. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Jose from Airport Wings. Thank you, Santi, all of you guys. Thank you, Mirsha. It's going to watch later. I hope you guys enjoy it. I apologize for the progress bar on the top. Not sure what happened there, but it's not working. And it's been malfunctioning in the last flight, and now apparently it's just stopped working. So, not really sure what happened there. I'll be looking into it for the next flight. Until then, I thank you all for coming, and I hope you guys enjoyed, because I certainly did. Thank you so much, guys, and I'll see you later.
I love to fly up in the sky. Through the clouds I reach so high, climbing up to touch the light. Adventure calls me day and night. The wind, it sings a melody, guiding where I long to be. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the dream's begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the light.
Max 192, gate 49er taxi by Bravo Desert, Alpha, Bravo, Juliet Golf. Gate 49er,
The stars above begin to shine, painting trails so bright and fine. Every turn brings something new, endless skies in brilliant blue. The wind, it sings a melody, guiding where I long to be. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun, no limit limits when the dreams begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soared into the light. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the drums begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soared into the